I wanted to debate Christianity and religion versus spirituality.
Okay, what is spirituality?
So spirituality is it's a concept based on the universal laws, the laws of the universe, and different stuff like that. Meditation, frequency, vibration, things of that nature, and it teaches to look inward and acknowledge the God in you. It internalizes God
Okay.
versus religion and Christianity externalizes.
Externalizes God. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it. So within the spirituality worldview, you believe that simply we are gods ourselves then.
correct.
Okay.
A fractal of the Creator. Yes, sir.
Okay. So then there is a creator.
1,000%,
Got it.
but
So
not the
what would
Creator
be,
from religion.
okay, well then what would be the distinction between us and the creator?
In what aspect?
The nature.
I don't understand your question. You say
What's the
what's
nature
the
of God and what's the nature of us? What's the distinction between us?
so it's kind of like it's kind of a difficult question to ask because people have a certain perception on what God is. God ain't necessarily an entity that has a specific nature, especially one that's as described as in religion or Christianity. It has a nature,
Okay.
but not the nature of what people typically associate God with.
Well,
And the nature of God, God is
is the nature of your God all good?
again, that's a it's a loaded question because there's no such thing as
Wait,
all
loaded
good.
question.
God,
What do you mean?
yeah, because it's the perception on it. There's no such thing as really all good or all bad. Bad isn't really ain't nothing but an extreme opposite end of what good is. So they're not two separate things. They are the opposite and extreme ends of the same thing. So it depends on the perception that you give it and what you mean by when you say good and bad. Because there's technically no such thing as no good or bad. Like I said, they are just extreme opposites of the same thing.
Okay,
If that
so
makes any sense.
well, if you're saying it really doesn't make sense, it doesn't follow. If you're saying that it's two opposite ends of the same thing,
So let me let me
and
let me unpack it a little
what
bit for
is
you.
that thing? That's what I want to know.
That
What is that
that
thing?
thing
Yeah.
that thing is unconditional love. So unconditional love is truly and really the only emotion, and every other emotion is a derivative or a twisted form of love. So unconditional love can be perceived as good, and actions that contradict unconditional love can be perceived as what people think is bad. So there's no really such thing as good and bad. They just opposite ends of unconditional love.
Okay. So if and everybody on TikTok, I'm debating someone on YouTube. I see I got somebody on TikTok, V Dub. I'll bring you up shortly after I debate with him. Simply, you're saying that the thing is unconditional love, and the closer you are to unconditional love is good. The further you are away from unconditional love is bad.
Depending on your perception. It's all based on subjectivity and
Okay,
the
so it's just
perception that you
all
give it. So yeah,
subjective.
correct.
Okay, so under your worldview, then good and bad is just subjective.
It's a perspective. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's just all subjective then.
yeah.
Okay, and if it's the case that it's all subjective, then who's more valid than one another? I say Christianity is right, but that's my own subjective preference. You say Christianity is wrong and spirituality is right, but that's also all subjective. What would make me more valid than you, or you more valid than me?
Right. So I mean, it depends. That's it's always a right and wrong way to do something, but good and bad don't necessarily mean right and wrong. You equating the two. So good don't always mean right, and bad don't always mean wrong. Those are subjective, and those are subjective perspectives.
No. The only distinction is if you're using it for utility. So it can be a right way to create an engine. There's a right way to
Right.
do that. There's a wrong way to create an engine. So that there's right and wrong. And yeah, that will be a distinction from good or bad. But if we're speaking about good or bad, we are insinuating right and wrong also. Because if you're saying that something is moral, something is good, this would be something that people from your subjective worldview, people should move towards. If you're saying that something is bad, wrong, this is something people from your worldview should move away from. So it is still right and wrong. You get what I'm saying? So I'm simply asking you, if it's the case that under your worldview, everything is subjective and it reduces down to our own preferences, how we feel about it and our perspective on it, then what makes you more valid than me in this debate?
Right. So again, I never once stated that everything is subjective. I never made that. I never made that argument that everything is subjective.
You said
Some
that
things are.
you said that morality is subjective.
Prove it to me that how is not. How is it not?
It's not my claim;
What
it's
is
your
morality
claim.
based on?
I granted it.
I'm asking though.
No,
what is morality based
no,
on?
I just went ahead. I granted it. Here's the thing. I'm doing an internal critique. I'm granting your worldview so you can look in the mirror and see how nonsensical and dumb it is.
Okay, so explain it to me then.
Okay.
What is morality based on in your opinion?
Got it. Under your worldview,
No,
my Christian.
Your specific worldview.
Listen, it doesn't
What do you
even
base
matter.
morality
It doesn't matter. No, listen, I'm telling you this. It actually doesn't matter under a subjective worldview like yourself that morality is subjective. And if morality is subjective, knowledge is subjective, everything is just subjective.
that's not the case.
Knowledge cannot,
there's objective
not
truth,
even,
and then there's subjectivity as well.
knowledge
You cannot
couldn't even
completely
exist
just
at
get rid
all,
of
but that may be
I'm not saying
too,
there's no
that
such
may be
thing as
too big
subjective.
for you to understand. So we'll tackle that another time. But I'm simply saying, and I want to answer to the question. Under your worldview, Christianity, man, that's just subjective. Spirituality,
When
that's
did
just
I say Christianity was subjective? When did I say that?
the moral principles within Christianity would be subjective under your worldview. The good and the bad is subjective.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Christianity is subjective. That means
If Christianity is a religion that if Christianity is a religion that posits alt claims, moral claims, and you're saying that these moral claims that it posits is subjective, then Christianity is subjective.
Nah, you can't necessarily equate those. So that don't necessarily mean that's the
It's
case.
not I'm not equating anything. That's simply what you're stating. Religions are about is religion about ethics, moral principles? What is religion about?
No. Religion ain't nothing but an institutional construct designed to lead man further away.
Okay,
from
that's a great sentence. That's a great sentence that you use. People believe in religion for moral principles. Do they not? Or do they?
They're incorrect too, because they believe morality comes from God.
Totally fine. Under your worldview, it's all subjective anyway. So please answer my question, right? You're trying to avoid the question. I need an answer to the question.
Specific to what's the question?
I'm going to ask it again. If it's the case under your worldview that morality is subjective, the good and the bad, that's just basically, this just derives from our human minds and is how we perceive life to be. Then on this debate today, because since we're debating morality, then I'm asking you, how can you make any claims that your subjective position is more valid than mine if I also have a subjective position that I'm positing? Who would be more valid if everything is just subjective?
I'm saying, listen, you arguing the subjectivity part. I'm trying to argue the objective part. You're not
what are you speaking about?
The subjectivity part. You're wrong based off of the objectivity of it all. Is what I'm saying. Just like
what are you?
What's the evidence that Jesus really walked the earth?
You're asking a question to avoid. This is called obfuscation. When people are pinned down. Listen.
Again,
no.
The subjectivity of it.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Subjectivity of stuff. I'm going based off. Listen.
You said it's subjective, and I'm not arguing the subjectivity. I'm arguing the things that's portrayed as objectional facts.
Okay,
that's what I'm here to debate.
Got
it. The things that can be subjectivity.
What are we currently discussing?
I'm here to talk about the facts. I want to debate.
What are we currently?
Christianity.
What are we currently discussing?
I want to discuss.
No, what are we I know what you want to do. What are we currently discussing?
We discuss
what you want to do is run away.
About morality.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
That's what you want to do is this.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
No. What you're doing, what you want to do is run away from what we are currently speaking about. So I'm going to ask you, what are we currently speaking about right now?
We're speaking about subjectivity in regards to morality when discussing certain religions. But that ain't what I want to
No,
talk
no, no,
about.
no, no,
I
no,
want to get
no,
down
no,
to the
no.
real
Listen,
nitty gritty.
listen. No, no. This is the real nitty gritty. This is the real nitty gritty. Yes, it
This is
is.
the podcast.
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. I'll explain. No,
We don't want to debate nothing. Actually,
no.
I want to debate the Bible.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
My original question.
Okay, listen.
As literal, or do you take it as a parable or an allegory?
Got you. Instead of running, I will not allow you to run unless you answer my question.
Okay.
I just won't allow it, right?
And then will you answer my question?
Yes, but I'm gonna actually provide you more information so you can understand what I'm saying. So under your worldview, my worldview is also subjective in regards to the moral principles. Correct?
Perfect.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Within this discussion, right, we're having a discussion about morality. Mm-hmm. What's right and what's wrong.
And the subjectivity of morality, right?
Once again, in your worldview, it isn't objective. Correct?
Say that again?
It's not objective.
Right.
It's not objective. It's subjective. It's subjective means mind dependent. Objective means mind independent. So if it's the case under your worldview, I'll repeat it again slowly, that morality just comes from our own minds, from our own subjects. So what this person believes is good and bad. This other person could believe something that's also good and bad. I'm asking you, who would be valid? How do you determine who's valid based off of their own subjective moral principles?
The person who doesn't contradict the objectivity of it is the answer to that question. Whoever doesn't contradict the objectivity of it, who would be in the correct?
Okay, now you just contradicted yourself, right? And I'll explain. You just said that morality isn't objective. Morality is subjective. So how can someone contradict the subjectivity of morality?
I said a portion of it is subjective and a portion of it is objective. Again, it's all.
You never said that. Now you're saying that now. What portion of morality is objective?
The unconditional love portion. When you contradict that is when you step into subjectivity.
Okay, the unconditional love portion of morality is objective. And how do we know that that's objective?
By studying the universal laws. Anything that contradicts unconditional love is a contradiction of what God actually is. So anything that contradicts.
But when we're studying these things, are we using our own subjective minds?
Say that again.
When we're studying the laws of the universe, are we using our own subjective minds?
Yes, we are.
So how do we know by using our own subjective minds what we're studying is actually getting us to the objective truth?
The same way we use our subjective minds to study math and to know 2 + 2 = 4, which is an objective truth. So it'll be the same way. It'll be the same way.
One second here. I just lost some connection for a second. I just want to make sure the stream is good.
So I answered your question.
Back to business.
Can you answer my question now?
No, you didn't answer my question because it still doesn't make any sense.
All right, we can get back to it. You said the same way.
You actually didn't answer the question because what's in question now, since you contradicted yourself, is the objective morality.
Again, you said the mind is subjective. So how can we look at something with a subjective mind and get something objective?
I'll go ahead and do it for you. Okay. So spirituality, right? You're making the claim that the moral principles within spirituality, there's an entity, and that entity is unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
The unconditional love is objective.
Correct.
Meaning that it's mind independent.
It's both. Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it too. It depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at it spiritually, it's mental.
That's another contradiction. It's A and also not A is a logical contradiction.
So it's not objective and subjective. Nothing can be objectively true and it can be subjective, is what you're saying?
What you just said, that it's objectively true. If it's objectively true, right, it's mind independent. I'm asking you that itself, that in it of itself, the spirituality concept, the entity is basically unconditional love. Is that objectively true or subjectively true?
The question would imply that things can't be both. So things can be objectively true and subjectively true as well.
Can a rock be objectively true?
Yeah.
Is a rock objectively true?
Yeah.
So, meaning that if human beings wasn't here, the rock would still be here.
I mean, that depends on what you think about spirituality and what you think about what reality is.
If human beings wasn't here, could a rock still exist?
Could a rock still exist? Yeah,
if human beings vanished, say all of human existence, humans died, would the rock still be here?
I feel like I answered your question like 3 times over, and you have yet to answer my questions for some reason. Like you don't want to. You said
no, because you're all over the place.
Like you don't wanna,
and now you're trying to run again. Stop the meta conversation. Stop the meta conversation. No, stop the meta conversation, and let's get to the actual conversation.
The actual conversation was
listen. Stop running. Why are you running again?
Why are you running?
You're running again, bro.
Why are you running?
Chill, bro.
This is not what I wanted to debate, bro.
Why are you running?
I wanted to debate Christianity.
Why are you running?
Oh, you out here running again, bro?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
You said if I answer your question.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.